Mr. Rogers, beautiful day in the neighborhood. Wonderful day in the neighborhood. Would you be mine? Good morning, Miss Fredericks. Miss Dyer. Miss Coleman, Miss Wiggins. Good morning. You know, I used to do these lives every morning. I never spoke to anybody. I'd be like, to start talking and like, Tony, you're being rude. I didn't know I was supposed to do that, but doing it now. Good morning, Miss Spencer, Miss Sampson, Miss Davis. She said, all y'all are beautiful people. Can't hear me? Wow. Can you hear me now? Did y'all hear me the whole time, or you just, was that Miss Sampson's Samsung? Do you hear me now, or did you hear me the whole time? The entire time, okay. Miss Sampson, if you got a Samsung. All right, let's go. So this morning, a couple of things that we want to talk about. And first thing I want to say, and you know, when you hear from a lot of people, and one thing about social media and the internet, I remember before that, people would only hear from the people they were following. So, if we did a training on our team and everybody on the team did that, and everybody followed that. It was a system in place that nobody broke the system because nobody knew another system. It was like what we did was what we did, and everybody followed that system. And I'm gonna tell you, I saw a lot of success from that. Coming along around 2006, 2007, I guess, that's when Facebook came around, 8 or something like that. I didn't join Facebook in 2009. I didn't know people were on there for, they're like, you ain't on Facebook? I'm like, okay, so I joined Facebook. Then I started realizing, as I started going to people's pages, I said, we got a problem, Houston. I didn't do MySpace. Well, I did, but I didn't. I might have a few songs on there or something, but I didn't look at it like that. But I thought we had a problem when we on Facebook, because I started going to different pages and I started seeing different leaders talking about different things from different companies. And I realized then that is every man for himself and God for us all, because, it was before it was everybody for a system, everybody. But when you start getting different things thrown at you and you hear different leaders saying this, and a lot of them are keyboard leaders. So that means that they were stretching the truth, not being truthful, but you didn't know because they were keyboard leaders. And people start listening to that and listening to that, listening to that, and listening to that. I remember we had one PowerPoint. Then they started changing the PowerPoint here, changing the PowerPoint there, changing the PowerPoint there, changing the PowerPoint there, because they saw somebody other team with this picture on the PowerPoint. They saw somebody other team with this picture on the PowerPoint. Then they start showing them dropping their kids off at school. And then when my kids going down the hallway, and that's my why. And they start adding everything to the PowerPoint. And next thing you know, it was 20 different PowerPoints. And so a new person coming in involved, totally lost. And it's kind of been that way since then. That's why I felt like the little person who was winning at one point, it became personality driven. It became influencer driven. Those people were winning then. They start winning and still winning now. They're still winning now. And the little guy who doesn't have the personality, it's a battle for them because now they caught up in the mix. It's like they just, they're in the middle of a storm. And even if you try to put something together for somebody to follow, everybody's going to change it. We all going to have our own flavor. We all going to do our own thing. And when you do that, and which we've been doing, it's been a battle for the average person. If you got a personality, you could talk, you're an influencer. But before, it wasn't like that. The little guy could win because even the influencer said the same thing. Even the personality person said the same thing. So now my point is, this thing is a little bit different now. And in my opinion, it's hard. Now, again, you can go to somebody else's page and hear somebody else say, well, it's a little easier now. You just got to understand how you going to fight your battle. That's why we need to do something every day like this. You need to be in a person's face every day. I started doing that and around that time, 2007, 2008. Before I was doing Thursday night leadership, Tuesday night basic training. I still was doing Saturday morning book club. But then I realized if we're going to win, we got to get tight. We had to be daily. That's when I started doing daily, every single day. Well, I didn't do Sunday, but it was Monday through Friday, mindset leadership, and Saturday was book club. And also in those days, I would throw in the basics or something like that. But I had to huddle the team every single day, just in hope that we keep everybody together and flow. And that still wasn't, it was, in my opinion, something that needed to be done because it's like herding cattle, man, or herding cats, more than cattle, just cats. So, when I say things here, you might hear something somewhere else, you might hear something else somewhere else. And, I'm telling you, it's every man for himself and God for us all. Before we all were doing this and we were going that way and flowing that way. Even if, a person puts together a system now, you're supposed to follow it, but your thoughts are, when you hear something, it's hard to, in the courtroom, they say, scratch that from the record. Right. You mean take it off that sheet of paper? You ain't going to scratch it from here. The juror has already heard it. Oh, let me bag that up and erase it. Okay. Just like when you go to somebody else Instagram or somebody else YouTube page or somebody else, and you hear what they're saying, and then you can say, well, that ain't what Tony's saying. Let me see. And this person here, they got more likes. Hold on. they got more followers. Wait a minute, I think they might know more than that person. So, and I kind of like what they say. So, like you start following people, it's like folks who join churches. They go to the church where the pastor is preaching what they like, not what you need to hear, because you might be doing some stuff and the pastor's preaching against that. You're like, let me move to New Bethel. New Bethel don't talk about that. New Bethel don't talk about that particular sin, because that pastor probably doing it. So New Bethel don't talk about that. So I'm gonna move over here. And that is a challenge, not only in this industry, but in the world. You got too many choices, too many options. Everything is coming at you, and it's coming fast. Coming fast. So let me ask you this question today. The question will be, just say going into the new year. It don't have to be going into the new year. It could be right now. It could be, but it's always, when people talk about the new year, what will keep you from getting confused and blindsided? Because they coming. Everybody got something, they coming. What's going to somebody will tell you life is easy and business is easy. Good morning, Cleveland, Ohio. Somebody tell you that. I say it's not. Besides the basic things that you get blindsided from, which are, these are not basic, but these are things for sure. Death. I see a lady right now out on social media, and she's an associate of mine. I'm not going to say friend. We talk back and forth. We converse. Been knowing her for about 5 or 6 years. Her mother passed. And man, she been talking about that 4 or 5 months. Ain't got over it. I know some people say, well, Tony, that's how she handled it. I understand. I understand how she handled it. But I do understand she in business too. And if you got people following you and you still doing that, well, that's her choice. It is. And I understand. I feel sorry for that. If that's, what happens to her. Everybody look at it different. Well, in business, and you leading, people are looking for you to lead. After a while, they like, if you're not in business and if you're not leading, you have people to lead. Good morning, Miss Wallace, Miss Mullins. And I'm torn between, hey, I want to say something, but then I don't, because I don't want to bite my head off. But then I don't want her to say later on, why you ain't talk to me? Why you ain't say something to me? Because you going to bite my head off? So I'm like, I remember when my father passed, and it's me. I love my father. He was my guy, man. He was my guy. I was in the hospital room when he passed. I saw them put him in a bag and take him out. That's the worst thing in the world. I saw them zip him up. I was the only one there. It was like 2 a.m. My mom was asleep. My sister was in New Orleans, but I was there in the room with him. He had already been in a coma for a while, and then he just slowly actually went downstairs to get a drink. And I came back up. He was fading. You could see it. I called a nurse. I stood there when they came, put him in the bag. And I remember in my apartment, like 2 or 3 days later, it may have been 2 days later, I lived in one of these little, it was an older high-rise building. And, there was a little store in the bottom of the building. And so when you look out that window, you could see traffic, like cars moving around the corner and all this kind of stuff. And I remember feeling sad. And I looked at that window, might have been 3 days. And, some came to me. I don't know if it was God told me this, but I heard a voice that says, life goes on. Because those people were going in and out of that store, they was driving around the corner, they were doing this, and they didn't stop. The world didn't stop for my dad. It didn't. I don't know if she had problems where she felt like she didn't do enough for her mom or didn't do. I did everything. I was there. So when it's over, it was over. I mean, we all got to go through that process. That's one thing we all going through at some point. But then I realized too, I got people following me, man. They looking at me. I got to move on. I got to move on. I can't be, 2 months, 3 months from now, still posting out there. Matter of fact, I ain't gonna post any. I ain't gonna. My mother passed, that I'm not putting that out there. That's on y'all. Y'all can do that, but I don't get that part. But maybe that's what you need, and that's what you be like. Even with my hospital thing, it took me a year to post what I posted because that was last Thanksgiving. But I got it. I saw. I said, man, I'm thankful. This is boom. But you're gonna go through deaths. Situations gonna happen. But life gonna you got to keep moving, man. If you're leading, if you're not leading, then you can, But when people watching you, they want to see how do you handle that situation. And I believe if you got a problem, what I just said, you're not a leader. You still hadn't gotten there yet. You working on getting there. You're not, you working because it's not only it's a lot of people looking at you, not only people on your team, it's other people that follow you if you're a leader, and they're not saying that they following you, but they're getting all kind of stuff from you. And now, you have, and you say, well, I don't care about that. That's my, you ain't a leader. Another thing, you could lose your job or somebody else could lose your job. I've seen people do that. And they just lose it. Lose it. I understand. I lost it when I had that surgery. I lost it on the second one. But I started bringing it back, January and February. But, I still mentally, I couldn't figure out how I got myself in that position. And I remember saying, I'm talking back and forth to God now. This is when I really heard his voice. I know a lot of times people say they hear him every day. I don't hear him every day. Maybe I ain't spiritual enough, but I heard him during that time. I remember I kept saying, hey man, what I do to, why me? He said, why not? Why not you? Who you suggested it should be? I don't know, anybody but me. So like, now, why not you? Who are you? I like, you got a point there. But, I had to shake it off and I still know that it's some things that happened that during that time that really I should have reacted a little better. But, you're going to have problems on your job. You might have problems on your job. I see people get problems on their job, then they stop focusing on what they're doing. shoot, that's when you really should start focusing on what you're doing, especially if you see problems on the job. Hey, it might not, might not be your turn now, but your turn could easily come around when they call you in the office. And it's that term they use when they call you office. Well, we decided that we're going in a different route. We're going a different way with the company. Translation, we about to do away with you. But it ain't got nothing to do with you. It's just that we going a different way. We going. You be like, I can go that way too. I can go that way. No, I'm sorry, you're not going that way. Yes, I can. No, you can't. Yes, I can. No, you can't. You got 2 weeks. Oh man, I saw a lady. Just tell you all the experiences I had. She was a instructor at Spelman, and they downsized her. Well, they fired her, but downsized sounds a lot better. So they downsized her, and she called me one day and she said, "Can you meet me over at Applebee's over there?" I said, "Yeah, I can do that." I said, "What we meeting for?" She said, "I want to restructure and redo my goals and my plans and stuff. And I know you're always talking about that. And I just want to get your input on it. And, just give me an hour." I said, "Okay." So I met over there. She had a notebook, all this stuff. And she was very professional with it. This is what I plan on doing here. I'm going to spend more time there. I got this down pat. I said, "Well, let me ask you a question. Why all of a sudden this happens?" She says, "Well, I'm really frustrated with what happened." And that's when she told me that they had downsized her and that it wasn't right because she was doing everything she's supposed to do, but they wasn't fair. I'm like, fair is where they judge pigs and they got cotton candy and they got like the merry-go-rounds and the roller coasters. That's fair. So she like, yeah, I get that. And so she actually put a plan together and we started rolling with it. We every day doing 3 ways every day. That's when, back in the day when you actually went and met people, sit down with it. That's when we was doing one-on-ones and, "Hey, I got somebody I need you to meet over here at the Galleria. Can she gonna sit down for an hour? Can you meet me there?" "Yeah, I got somebody over here." And I was, because she had influence. And people saw that somebody like her got downsized. It could easily be you. People saw that. So we working. I mean, I'm like, okay. Because a lot of times in the day, when you're a leader and you got a group of people, a lot of times you have to create what you're going to do in the daytime because those people don't get out of work till 5 o'clock. That's why a lot of people shouldn't be quitting their jobs before they need to, because if you quit your job and even though you got a team, what you're going to do in the daytime, you got to figure out what you're going to do. I have to always figure out how I'm going to make something happen till 5 o'clock when people get off work. But she was one of the ones who, since she didn't have a job at the time and she had that, her severance pay, I guess, we were rolling. But guess what happened? Somebody put in the chat, what do you think happened? Nobody guessing? Okay. Somebody called her for a new job. Now, I remember when she called me to sit down the first time and she went over her goals and stuff. And I remember her saying, I'll never get caught like this again. I'll never, get caught like this again. But when they called for that job, brakes came on. The brakes came on. And so I'm thinking, I thought you said you never get caught like this again. That was all talk. Frustrated. Just didn't. And she was putting work in, man. I mean, the potential she had that could, and I'm not telling her to not take the job. You should take the job because it helped pay for everything. But don't just stop doing everything that you was doing. You got sidetracked. Life had thrown you a punch and knock you out. We got back up and started doing it. And so now you're going to go back and do the same thing. Same thing. So you really didn't mean what you were saying. It was like you were frustrated. It's almost like you trying to get somebody back. You want to prove it. Girlfriend, boyfriend break up, and then, they want to try to show right quick that they got another boyfriend or girlfriend or somebody who like them, and they want to, that's all she was doing. I'm gonna show y'all that you want them to hear that you out here doing your business and you doing this, and she ain't think, but that ain't really what you meant. That ain't really how you felt. You wait for that boyfriend to call you back, or a new boyfriend pull up. You're like, oh. I remember calling her and she's like, let me call you right back. Okay. I didn't know she had a new job then. Then I called her the next day. I'm like, did you forget to call me back? Oh, no, just kind of busy. And I'm going to call you back. Then she texts me. Did she text me? No. She left me a voicemail. Just want to let you know, I start back working, and, these hours going to have me tied down for right now. But as soon as I get situated, be back rolling. Now, I started working with a couple of people that we had brought in, but here's the thing. When you are an influencer, when you are that person that people look up to, they don't look up to me. Even though I was above her, and you have people who do that, but if that person, those two people were looking up to me, then she wasn't an influencer. It's just somebody she brought in. But when you're an influencer and people respect you, they looking for you. And when you put the brakes on, they put the brakes on. Even though I could help them, even though I was doing better than her, because she was, I used to always do this question. I used to do this. I used to call down in the group a lot, deep down in the group. And I would ask people, who's your leader? And if they named me, you the leader. That means that person that brought you in or the upliner, they ain't leading. They're not in the. But if they say Miss Tuesday, that means Fredericks. They say it's just Miss Fredericks. Then you know that you are that person. Even though I'm above Miss Fredericks, they ain't looking at me. They looking at her. But if they go above her and come to me, and I didn't tell them that, but I was just asking questions just to see where people were. That's an easy way to find out. But, that situation, man, I heard about it later on too. It happened again to her, like a year later. But we had moved so far on from that, you know, that just happens in life. And, you know, they call her back again. She should go back. That's just how it works. But my thing is, you shouldn't slow down on what you're doing with your business either way. And my point is, these things sidetrack us: death, losing a job, problems on the job. One of the things too that I've seen from people, especially the ones who, you know, are leaders that made a lot of money, and then, you know, they start having IRS issues. I mean, we all, because the IRS want to lay in the bed with you. They want to, like, you know, hey man, they moving in. They IRS want to, where you going? Right there, that bed you in. I'm gonna be right there with you. Start having them IRS problems, then folks just, oh man, they just lose it. Like, or a friend, you lose a friend, or something happened to a friend, or, you know, they quit, or you move, or they move on, and it might be, and now here we go. So my question today is, these things going to blindside us. I can tell you that if they're not doing it now. The question is, or the thing is, you ought to write down today 12 reasons why you're not going to let that affect you. 12 reasons why you're going to keep grinding when all these things in life start, you know, what's that commercial say, when life comes at you fast. Life comes at you fast. And I was sit back, and people used to get mad at me. Well, Tony, that's them, and that's their personal life. I understand. But don't say you're a leader, and don't tell me all these goals and dreams you have, and then one thing happens. And see, most people have not never studied business. They don't have a business mindset. They don't do personal development. So when something happens, everybody assumes that's what you're supposed to do. You watching your family, you watching everybody just lose it. See, a leader can't lose it. You can't lose it. People are looking at you. You can't lose it. But if you don't work on your mindset, you don't work on personal development, you don't get around leaders to talk, you don't know any better. You think you're supposed to do that. You think that's how because that's how everybody else operates. That's how everybody else operates. That's why I didn't even tell people in my family or nobody that I was even in the hospital. I didn't tell them nothing. Because I didn't want them coming up there, just sitting out there. That's what people do. They, you know, your aunt in the hospital, now you got to go down there every night and sit out in the lobby to let her know you love her. No, you you're getting distracted from what you're doing to go down there. I'm like, and there's some doctors there. I'm not saying you can't go see them, but you can't just. And again, if there's a disagreement with this statement, you need to read more books. You need to get around more leaders. You need to get your mind right, because that's just how it is. You're going to get punched. Life is going to throw you all kind of curveballs. What are you going to do? And I admit, that second surgery, when the lady said they might amputate my foot, it took me, it's bad. I admit that. But I had to get back on track right quick. I had to come back to my senses and say, man, and I started thinking, really, okay, what if they do that? How do I operate? Can I still move around? Can I still, and I was thinking, but I was glad it didn't happen. But I almost started thinking like, okay, are you going to let this take you out? But when people say they leaders and no. All right, let's do this. Everybody, somebody put in the chat. Well, each person put some in the chat that you can say that a reason why you're not going to fail doing this, or you're not going to get distracted or quit. So, if you put some in the chat, then it should be almost 12 different. I don't know. It could be the same. I don't know what y'all, but put one, each person put one thing there. One thing that says, this is why I'm not. You're committed. Committed to who? You're committed to you. Okay. It's too many people on here for me to start doing why, but until somebody else respond, I'm gonna go with you, Ms. Coleman. So why are you so committed? This is what I call the why game. It kind of frustrates people when I sit down with them. We're gonna why our way all the way out until it really gets to then you really know why. Because I know this is my way out. I will not look back. I will stay focused on my goal. Okay. How you know this is your way out? This is a conversation, when we used to sit down with people and go over their goals and stuff. And, we got to get this thing locked in to a point where you got a mission statement almost. Once we finish with asking you these questions, we got to go deep till that mission statement comes out. I'm committed because I was made for more. I love working on my progress. Okay. I like the freedom being a mom that's present. The Army controlled my life. With my other two, I missed too much. Like the freedom of being a mom that's present. Okay. What happens when the kids move on and you just a mom, you just there? What you gonna do then? You get a new why. Okay. Because I've seen how trading helps me, and also how using mental toughness helps me move me mentally. Okay. But I like the freedom of this life brings. Okay. See, these are the things you need to write down when I said 12 reasons why. You need to have 12 of them bad boys. So when life comes at you fast, you can go to those 12 and say, this is why I'm. But if you don't have that and life comes at you fast, and you can easily, I don't care what Tony say. My aunt, I love her to death. I'm a mourn for 16 months. That's my aunt, and I love her to death. Okay, go ahead on mourn for 16 months if you leading a team and see what happens. If you got people following you, see what happens after 6 days almost. See what happens. They might not ever say anything, but see how their activity starts. They watch. Just see. You'll see. But hopefully, if you are considered a leader, that you understand that, and that a leader has more of a responsibility to a lot more people than just your family. Well, my family comes first. Okay. Well, the group that comes second that's following you, okay, you still got a responsibility. I'm not quitting because I have people I'm called to help, and I love freedom. Right. I like what I'm doing. I don't want to do anything else. I enjoy it. Okay. I'm telling you, I will write down 12. You might not think of 12 today, but you should open a notebook and start writing. Have 3 today, 3 more tomorrow. 3. Just get you 12 of those. And you can have more than that. You can add to it when you start having situations happen around you, and you're like, oh, this is why I'm doing it. Let me add another one. The more of those you have, the better it's going to be for you. It seems like the people I've seen over the years is the ones who don't succeed or don't stay around or just quit altogether and don't keep fighting, is that they have more reasons to stay broke or more reasons than they have to win. I mean, most, when you talk to people that when you start hearing them, every question you ask about it, but they go, well, what about this? And what about that? And then what about this? They have way more reasons to stay broke or quit than they have to stay in the fight. And a lot of people have way more reasons to be broke or stay or quit than you have to win in business when you're talking to them. You might have 6 good reasons. They got 25 that everything you throw out, they come back with another. They throw it, you're like, okay, you win. Stay focused. My job is temporary. This is a life-changing event. I've seen it work. I've experienced ups and downs, but I'm doing this because I need to change me. I'm responsible for me and helping others. My kids are grown, so I have no excuse. Yep. I have 7 reasons why, and they need to see me win. Yep. You gotta put them down so you can look at them and know that they're there. You got reasons. That you. Y'all don't pay me to sing, so I'm not gonna. I can hit that high note too, Reason. That was who's to hit the high note? That wasn't Mari's wife. Who's that guy? Other guy, dark skinned brother. That's the one who hit that high note. I think that's the one who sang Reasons. Maurice White was just there. Like y'all know about Earth, Wind, and Fire. But yeah, you gotta have these, and we're gonna end that today. Hopefully, you go back and listen to this, and take some notes from it, and you might already have these reasons. I don't know, but I do know you got to have them because you might have all these happen to you in a week. Somebody die, you lose your job, or you got problems on the job. You might even have somebody sue you or something. Then you got IRS issues, you lose a friend. All that can happen all in 1 week. They just throwing them at you. But if you're a leader, you got to be able to understand and go with the flow, because there's too many people depending on you, too many people watching, too many people, I'm telling you, like when my doc called me the other day and I had to miss the morning. Yeah, you don't understand, but he act like, see, when you try to set an appointment up with him, he's so busy. But when he calls you, he got his assistant call you. It's like, Obama wants you to. Obama has, okay. And if I don't go, he might be, I don't know, a month or two before you. So he's God. So what was that movie where the guy doing the surgery, he said, y'all be praying, I'm God in that surgery room. You know, what was his name? He was in Glengarry Rose. You know, he was the guy who came in doing the training, and he said, first prize is, you know, BMW. Second prize is set of kitchen knives. He said first prize is a BMW or something like that. You know what number 2 is? No, set of steak knives. Come on, tell me the guy's name. Y'all, if y'all don't tell me the name, I'm not leaving. What's his name? They also had recorded him one time. He was snapping on his son on a voicemail. He was going off abusing his son with foul language. Come on. If y'all ain't seen Glengarry Rose, you ought to be that. You need to go watch that movie. That's an older movie about real estate and sales and how aggressive they were in sales. I know y'all seen Glengarry Rose. Who put in the chat if you hadn't seen Glen? Put 1 if you hadn't seen it. Oh God, y'all got to go watch it. It's an older movie. It's probably free on YouTube. You know how YouTube had them all. You can watch the full movie for free. It probably is. I don't know, but it's called Glengarry Rose, and it's you know, it's training on real estate and how, but it's more than just real estate. They were in the real estate office, and this guy comes down from the corporate office because sales are not being made, and he comes in to tell them, you know, it's a new policy: work or get fired. But we got a contest. When y'all see the guy, you're gonna know who I'm talking about. That's the same guy that played the doctor. But check it out. It's called Glengarry Rose. There you go, Will. Coffee is for winners. Put that coffee down. The guy in the back, yeah, the guy in the back was getting coffee. He said, put that coffee down. Coffee's for winners. He said, who are you coming down here? He said, I'm the one that's driving that $85,000 car outside. Now, this was a 1980 movie. That's who I am. Now, who are you? Oh, man, it's a classic movie. You got to watch that. So, all right. Let's go, Miss Fredericks. Don't let somebody beat you to the punch now. Are y'all already gone? That's all she wrote. The pencil broke. Peace in the Middle East. Oh, now you come. I see you. Now you here. Okay, Miss Fredericks.